You don't need to ask her what happened. You don't need to dig through her past like a detective. If you know what to look for, her history reveals itself without a single question. Her habits, tone, reactions, who she trusts, how she handles silence, it's all data. Stoic observation teaches you this. The truth is always there for the man who doesn't chase it. Asking can lead to lies, performance, or half-truths. But quiet awareness, that brings clarity. A woman's past isn't just stored in her stories. It's written into her pace, her defense mechanisms, her need for validation, or her ability to sit in peace. You want to know who she's been? Watch who she becomes when things are still. That's where the real answers live. Here's your question of the day. What's one small behavior in someone that told you everything you needed to know? Share it in the comments. And if you're locked in right now, write valor below. It means you're not here for drama, you're here for discipline. Let's begin. You can learn more about a woman in silence than in conversation. How she handles boredom. Those quiet, uneventful moments where there's nothing exciting happening. Reveals where her nervous system is trained. A woman who's lived in drama, chaos, or constant stimulation will start to unravel when things slow down. She'll reach for her phone, pick a fight, or stir emotional noise because peace feels unfamiliar. Stoicism teaches that character is revealed in stillness. If she's uncomfortable when the energy dips, if she needs entertainment just to stay connected, that tells you something vital. She's not grounded. And someone who can't sit with boredom often can't sit with truth. She'll confuse stability with dullness, mistake emotional neutrality for disinterest, and start seeking a spark to avoid facing herself. You want to know what her past looks like? Watch what happens when there's no spotlight, no attention, no chaos to manage. Can she be present in the ordinary? Can she enjoy silence with you without reaching for distraction? If not, you're not looking at a woman ready for depth. You're looking at someone still chasing noise because it feels like home. The Stoic man notices this early and adjusts accordingly, not with judgment, with clarity. The way a woman speaks about other women, especially those who aren't around, tells you far more about her past than any direct question ever will. Is she constantly criticizing, mocking, or undermining other women? Does she roll her eyes at their choices, laugh at their appearance, or throw around passive-aggressive comments masked as jokes? That's not commentary, that's projection. A woman who's experienced deep trust, growth, or accountability with other women won't rush to tear them down. If she does, it often signals emotional wounds, betrayal, competition, insecurity that she hasn't resolved. And if she brings that energy into every room, you can be sure it's part of her history. Stoic wisdom reminds us that how a person treats the absent reveals their real standards. Words spoken in private are windows into the past. Ask yourself, is her default tone toward other women one of respect, indifference, or quiet envy? Does she uplift those she disagrees with, or try to shrink them to feel bigger? This matters, because one day you might be the one she speaks about in the same tone. A woman at peace with her past doesn't need to weaponize her voice. She observes, filters, and chooses silence over drama. And a man rooted in Stoic discipline sees the pattern long before it circles back to him. Most men watch how a woman reacts under pressure, during arguments, mistakes, or emotional spikes. That matters. But what reveals even more is how she handles calm, still moments. Quiet presence, a peaceful environment. Because if she's lived in survival mode, in constant emotional friction, then calm won't feel safe. It'll feel unfamiliar, and unfamiliarity breeds discomfort. Watch her in a room where nothing needs fixing. No one is performing. The energy is steady, not intense. Can she relax? Or does she fidget, stir conversation just to break the silence, bring up conflict from the past, or search for a hit of validation? The Stoics believed calm was the ultimate test of inner alignment. If someone can't sit with peace, they're not ready to build anything lasting inside it. Her past shows up here. A woman who equates stillness with emotional neglect likely comes from a place where love was loud, unstable, or conditional. She may crave calm in theory, but sabotage it when it shows up, because it doesn't match her wiring. As a Stoic man, your job isn't to fix that. It's to recognize when your peace is being treated like a threat, not a gift. That's when you stop asking questions and start trusting what the silence reveals. True character isn't shown when things go smoothly. It's revealed when something doesn't go her way. When a woman hears no, faces delay, or feels slight discomfort, her reaction will tell you more about her emotional past than any story she shares. The Stoics understood this well. How a person handles limits is a mirror of how they handle life itself. Does she become passive-aggressive? Withdraw love or attention? Raise her voice? Try to guilt you into changing your stance? These reactions often come from a place of unresolved emotional conditioning. Maybe in her past, anger got results. Maybe silent treatment worked. Or maybe throwing control around was the only way she felt safe. Whatever the source, it's being repeated now. Not to test you, but because that's what she knows. On the other hand, a woman who has done real emotional work will handle resistance with grace. She'll communicate, not manipulate. She'll express her needs but still respect your boundary. That kind of response doesn't come from theory. It comes from history. So don't just watch how she treats you when everything's easy. Watch what shifts when she's told no, because that's where the past shows itself clearly and where your own standards need to stay steady. If you want to understand a woman's values and by extension her past, pay attention to who she naturally respects and who she quietly dismisses. Is her admiration reserved only for people with status, looks, or loud personalities? Does she disregard those who move with humility, emotional discipline, or quiet strength? The answer will reveal not just her taste, but the kind of energy she's been conditioned to respond to. The Stoics taught that respect given tells you just as much as respect earned. If she constantly uplifts impulsive people, romanticizes chaos, or follows those who operate without integrity, it's likely because those traits once held power in her world. Conversely, if she speaks highly of steady people, honors boundaries, or sees strength in restraint, that's a sign of emotional clarity shaped by experience. This isn't about judgment. It's about reading alignment. Watch how she treats service staff, how she talks about people who have nothing to offer her, how she reacts to someone being calm instead of reactive. These are all small indicators that point to what kind of life she's been surrounded by and what kind of behavior she subconsciously validates. A Stoic man doesn't just listen to her words. He watches her gravity, what she orbits around, because that orbit shows you exactly where she's coming from. You don't need to interrogate someone to understand who they are. If you watch closely, how she reacts to calm, how she handles discomfort, who she respects, and how she treats silence, her past reveals itself without a single word. The Stoic path isn't about control or confrontation. It's about awareness, and the man who sees clearly walks forward without regret. Most men ask the wrong questions. The Stoic man doesn't ask. He observes, and what he sees, he trusts. Because when someone shows you who they are through behavior, no explanation is needed. That's the power of silent clarity, and once you understand that, you stop chasing truth and start recognizing it. If this shifted how you see things or confirmed what you already sensed, drop the word valor in the comments. That tells us you're not just watching, you're learning in silence. And that's what we build on here at Valoris. Steady mind, clear eyes, forward only.